What you doing, Teddy? Just trucking. Well, hello, everybody on the YouTube. It's the Wingnut, and I'm out here walking some trails on the property. So, yeah, this is a trail that Mrs. Wingnut has made. She's actually made all the trails on this property and cleaned up the road. It goes to the back of our property that way. So we are about a third of the way distance this way across the property and 50 yards, maybe 25 yards from the start of the property. And we go that way quite a ways. I figured I'd show you what we're doing, you know. The marks are from when we were going to run a trail that way, but changed the difference. Yeah, she comes out and she maintains it almost every day. She works on the trails and goes a little bit further. She started when we moved onto the property back in into August 23, and she's been doing all this with hand tools. You see, we got a lot of stuff growing here, tons and tons of muscadine. And Teddy's not super energetic. He ain't feeling too hot. He going to the vet this week. Find out why he ain't feeling too good. Since it's the weekend, I can't take him. And he's eating. And he's doing his normal thing. He's just not as super bouncy. So, I wouldn't say lethargic, just not the energy level we're used to dealing with. But that'll probably change if you see something exciting. Like the squirrel tree. Teddy. You can't get him. See, look. You bothered him so much, he done ate up a hole further up a tree. And of course, I got us some water in case we get thirsty. Now, at one point, so this tree was taken down by a storm. I want to say beginning of last year. I just cut a spot where we can walk through. And you guys see the trail goes that way. We're going to actually walk the whole thing today. I just wanted to share this with you. This is what all that work was for. Everything that Mrs. Wingnut and I have been working for is to have something like this. Haven't had any luck finding morels on my property. I know they're here. I just, for whatever reason, I can't get them. Cold War era canteens are not the most comfortable to sling over your shoulder when you're my size. But I don't like having them on my hip. You know? And I do carry a firearm when I'm out. Walk in the woods. Mainly because you don't know if you're going to encounter wildlife that isn't super thrilled to have you in their territory. You know, rattlesnakes are a thing. The biggest thing with that is just give them space, go around them. Same thing with coyotes, anything else. Typically, they'll try to avoid you as much as you avoid them. Err on the side of caution, you know, kind of thing. I won't be surprised if we see some deer this morning, or actually midday. Sometimes we will, sometimes we won't, depending on how their feeding cycles are. We're just walking. This is what we do. I try to at least walk the property once a day. At the very least, I walk a portion of it. So this is our place. Ain't that right, buddy? He's a little warm. Fortunately, we don't have any springs on the property. We do have a well. But uh-oh. What you smelling, bud? Sorry if I'm jerking around a bit. I just walked into a spider web. I do need to get down here with a chainsaw and open this section up. Eventually, I'd like to do a camp video, motorcycle camping video on the property. And the main reason, and I've talked about this before, is I want to test out my setup to make sure it's not overkill, not underkill kind of thing. Teddy, come here. Come on. There he comes. Get back here. I didn't give him any commands to stay with me, so I'm just letting him range. He's pretty versed with where our property lines are, and he knows not to get in the road. So as long as I can keep an eye on him, I let him run free on the property when we're out here with him. Unless he acts a fool, then he'll go on his leash. Good boy. Good boy. Just stay with me. Here's what it is. The with me command is eyesight. So if we can see each other, he's okay. But yeah, I like to take the bike down here. Do a little camp. Gonna have to be a little careful. This is a new growth forest, so there are quite a bit of widowmakers up in the trees. So wherever you're gonna set your camp up, you need to have a pretty good idea of where you want to do it. So, you know, just check it out. This is our little spot. There used to be a tree here when all this was logged in the 90s, and I really don't know when in the 90s because it's up to guesstimation. A lot of the trees stumps were rolled over, and we have spots like this left. There's a lot of uneven spots, and sometimes you'll see skidder trails throughout the property. So, but trees, especially when trees fall over, they'll pull the root ball up. Stuff like this is left, and it's real stony ground, so we kind of leave it. And I can see mounds down there, and a couple little divots and mounds along the edges of the hill. So not bad. Oh, there's a scrape I missed when I was looking for scrapes. I actually didn't look this far down for scrapes. I should have. But just kind of trucking along. I'm coming. He wants to go off and he wants to run a little wet weather spring creek bed. So what wet weather springs are is what I've been taught they are, and God knows how wrong I could be, is where, you know, the spring doesn't run until water picks up. Now you may say, well, it's coming from up the hill, so all the water from the hills is going to run down. And yes, that does happen. But even a couple of days after it rains, we have a couple spots that's still producing water. And it gets to about where all those muscadines, that's what most of those vines are, hits right there, and then it just disappears. It goes into the ground and it pops back up at the other end. And at the bottoms is a dry creek bed or a wet weather creek bed. There's wet weather springs on my neighbor's property on the other side of this hill. And yeah, we're still on my place. And you see the trails and how clean this has been cleaned out. Mrs. Wingnut did all that. It's pretty awesome. We got our fields up there at the end of the tree line. Not a very big field, but enough for what we're going to do with it. But yeah, this is it. Come on. You head down. And you see all the ridiculous amount of muscadine vines. They're all over these two hills through these washes. And got a few things that aren't muscadines in here too. As far as poison oak and poison ivy, we got them on here. They don't bother me. Mrs. Wingnut, however, highly allergic. Should have seen it when all these ferns started coming up the fiddleheads. Pretty good bit of wild forage. Not too bad. I'm not really up on my wild foraging. I wish it was. But I've got some friends and family that are good on it. So I can find out what's worth the time and what's not. You get into something you weren't supposed to? Yeah, you did. Got little dig spots that are a couple of days old from armadillos. Damn armadillos. Tear a place up. Oh, this is the property. What'd you find? That's moles. See the mole hills? He's trying to get to them. He'll come back mud up to his eyeballs. Trying to get moles. And then down here, we're at the bottom. This is the lowest point on our property. We've dropped about 100 feet from the highest point to this point. Well, this isn't the lowest. It gets lower that way. I think total is like 175, almost a 200 feet drop. And yeah, this is our pawpaws, or one of the pawpaw patches. It don't look like anything got pollinated. Get a few open. Hopefully they get pollinated. It may be that I don't have enough mature pawpaws for cross-pollination. I don't know how well you guys can see this, but this is that's a pawpaw. I've never had one. I've tried for years to wild forage them. I've tried for years to find them. Ooh, that's a big spider. Wow. That's what happens when you're 6'4". Spider webs. Yeah, even this trail where this is cleared off, this is Mrs. Wingnut. Really proud of her. She does a great job with all this stuff. I don't know if I tell her enough. I hope I do. By the time we turn around and come back, all these spider webs will be back up. And then we got a portion of this hill going back that way for a little bit. The temperature difference between down here and up on the RV site is about 10 degrees. It's way cooler in here. Nice little microclimate. And you'll see where wildlife likes to do what wildlife do. Yeah, a spot where squirrels like to eat their nuts. Occasionally you see spots where the deer paw around looking for forage. Yeah. So straight ahead from here is the fire pit. And then we go that way a ways. You doing good, buddy? Oh. No. No. Leave it. Teddy. Leave it. Come here. Sit. Good boy. I know your butt hurts. You gotta go see the vet. He didn't like sitting right now. He minds pretty good. Mostly. He's pushing it. He gonna get in trouble. Oh, you know that word. Yeah. Unfortunately, one of the downsides of this property is the ticks are real bad here. So we have to make sure he's sprayed down, make sure we're sprayed down. Boots are treated. Outdoor gear is treated. The site is treated. And it sucks. I don't like using a lot of stuff to keep pests at bay. Come here. You stay with me. Well, you are technically following the rules. But I know that look in them ears. You thirsty? Drink. Teddy. Hey, good. Witchy whistle. I didn't bring his bowl. First time I've actually carried this out here and not had a backpack on. Yep, Cold War era. Military surplus. I actually like them. I don't particularly care for the straps because I'm not that small of a dude and that strap is wet now. But it's collapsible. So it makes it easy to use. It's not super heavy. It's squishy. Packs down well. But yeah. It's a portion of the property. This is where we live. With time, we'll do some stuff. We're not going to clear out too much. Just we're going to leave as much of this wooded as possible. We are going to have to do some type of forestry management as far as deadfalls and standing dead. There's more standing dead that I would like, so we got to deal with that. A lot of it's just knocking it over. And as we clear sections out for stuff like the RV site, we do drop the logs whole, set them off to the side. If it can be milled, we'll mill it for when we build our house. And if it's not big enough to be milled, we'll cut it up into firewood or into mushroom stakes or whatever construction materials we can make from it. Because we want to put the house on one of these hills. I think it would be great. But we are constrained, of course, by finances like everyone else. So we might be in the RV for a while. But that's just how it is. You know? And storm clouds overhead. It seems like every time I try to get everything together to finish working on that combat shelter, the weather turns on me. But when it's really nice, I could have done it yesterday, but I went on a poker run with Post 60 out of Pulaski, the American Legion post. And the proceeds, of course, go to the Legion to keep the post running. It's a great place locally for veterans. And there's American Legion posts everywhere. I'm a big fan of the American Legion. I've been a Legionnaire since 2017. So I'm going on my 6th year, 7th year as a Legionnaire. It's a good place if you're a veteran and you just want to somewhere where you can go and be a vet and talk with other vets, especially the old hats. And you get a lot of information. The whole point of the Legion was to take care of veterans. Same thing with the VFW. You know, we have the things that we have for veterans, the programs, the stuff that the Veterans Affairs does, the changes, a lot of that's pushed by the Legions. So if you get an opportunity to join. Just need to fill out a request, have a copy of your DD-214, or if you're active duty, you know, your ID works, and join up. And if you're not a Legionnaire, let's say you're one of your parents was a veteran, you can join and be part of the auxiliary or the Sons. All right, and of course we also have the riders. So we do a bunch of motorcycle rides and everything else. You know, it was a great ride. I had a fun time, even though I had a semi-flat, and I was the only adventure bike there. Which the bike did all right until we got to the last leg when it was a lot of open highway, and then she ain't got the top end to run, so to speak. But it was a good time. I'm just walking and doing stuff, talking to you folks, enjoying my day, watching Teddy sniff. If you quit chewing on crap. I know, buddy. I know. Come here. Come here. You good puppy. You good puppy. I know you're not feeling good. Well, hopefully we'll get him to the vet this first part of this week. And if you guys follow me on social media, you know, I'm on Facebook. I'm on X, formerly known as Twitter. And I'm also on Instagram. So feel free to follow me on there. You'll kind of see when we do stuff with the property. I post on that. But yeah. This is the joint. Will there be motorcycle trails? Not necessarily. Will there be a few trails the motorcycle can go down? Yes, there's already one. Folks, this is where I live. Hey everybody, it's the Wingnut. Like, dislike, subscribe. It's on you. Have a good one.